back to my channel. We are back for yet again another top 10. Today we are reading the 10 best and worst Pokemon from Generation 1. Just to clarify, this is just what this website says. This is not my opinion and not my own saying, so if you get all bitchy in the comments, I don't want to hear it. But if you do have your own opinions on what is the best and worst Pokemon of Generation 1, let me know down in the comments, and maybe you'll agree with this list, maybe you won't. Who cares? Anyways, let's go. Pokemon has been around for more than 20 years. In all that time, it somehow never got a live-action movie. That's a big lie. It just did. Oh, yeah. Warner Bros. Changed all that in 2018, letting the fans know very bluntly with the trailer for Detective Pikachu, featuring live-action humans interacting with CGI Pokemon, and the movie represents a bold leap forward in the franchise. While the games and anime have largely been stagnated, Detective Pikachu might be the breath of fresh air the franchise needs to bring it back to the global domination. With the release of the trailer, we saw a lot of occasionally horrifying, realistic reimaginings of both classic and more recent Pokemon. With all the nostalgia buzzing in the air and the nightmares about Jigglypuff swimming in our heads, we all thought we looked back at the very first generation of Pokemon. Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green launched in Japan in 1996. Red and Blue launched as enhanced versions in North America in 1998. With them came the first 151 Pokemon, fully embedding the colorful creatures in the mids of the 90s kids forevermore. While future generations had their ups and downs, Gen 1 remained fairly strong design-wise throughout. The designs at least stuck to animals with fantastical elements that would define the design philosophy in the franchise for decades to come. Nevertheless, there are a few questionable choices that maybe should have gotten a second look before being sent out in the launch. Even with those rough patches, Gen 1 also has some of the best designs in the entire franchise, and it was a real struggle at the time to narrow it down to just 10. What is it? It said 20. It says 10! I guess there's 20. Unless that's wrong. Nope, it's not. Okay. Oh, here we go. 20. Worst is the Execute. One of the major thorough lines of Gen 1 Pokemon was the concept of mimics. Voltorb, Geodude, Magnemite, and of course Ditto. All the Pokemon that look like non-Pokemon things. One of the mimics Pokemon was Execute, a grass psychic type. Execute looks like a bunch of eggs with faces. That's all. While the Pokédex entry reveals that Execute is actually just a bunch of seeds, it is not particularly a creative design. Execute and its evolution Executor generally wallow in obscurity until the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon, which also saw the Alolan form of Executor turn into a bit of a meme. Execute unfortunately didn't get a redesign and remains one of those oh yeah Pokemon. 19. The best Cubone. A lot of what made Generation 1 Pokemon so memorable was the backstories that provided by the Pokédex. No other Pokemon represents that as well as Cubone, a fairly rare ground-type Pokemon. Cubone wears its mother's skull as a helmet and uses a bone as a club. The striking design combined with the tragic backstory have made Cubone one of the most enduring Pokemon. Like Execute, its evolution Marowak got an Alolan form in Sun and Moon as a Hawaiian fire dancer. Unlike Execute, Cubone and Marowak played a major role in the Proto-Gym Challenge at the center of the Sun and Moon story. I love Cubone. Cubone's a very underrated Pokemon. Number 18. Worst is Lickitung. Lickitung, you're so gross. No one is really sure of the exact origins of this thing, but one thing is very sure is how gross it is. Theories usually point to Lickitung being based on any number of lizards with extending tongues, including chameleons and the blue-tongued skink. But at the end of the day, it really just exists to be a big gross tongue that attacks things by licking. Baffling, Lickitung somehow managed to receive an evolution in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, alongside fan favorites like Rhydon, Magmar, and Electabuzz. The evolution Licky manages to look even dumber than Lickitung. Number 17. Best is Bulbasaur. Also underrated as fuck. Debates have been raging for 20 plus years over the best starter Pokemon is. Well, we're here to end it. It's Bulbasaur. Except no substitutes. The tiny little frog dinosaur does its very best and has one of the most perfect designs in the franchise. He's a frog, and he's got a bulb stuck to his back. As the very first Pokemon in the Pokédex, and one of the first Pokemon players will see in the game, Bulbasaur comes right out of the gate, providing an excellent representation of the game's design philosophy. While Charmander and Squirtle are, of course, very popular, they don't have quite the same immediate fantastical pop that Bulbasaur does. Also, at this point, it's just like Charizard's so fucking overrated, and Squirtle, like, Blastoise isn't even that good. Like, I think he's like Empoleon in one of the ways where it's like he doesn't learn a lot of like strong moves compared to fucking, Bulbasaur and Venusaur, who then become grass poison. Number 16, worst is Hypno. Well, Cubone Story presents in a Pokédex entry solidify it as a great Pokemon, Hypnos does the opposite. Its first form, Drowsy, is actually a pretty good design and an upright tapir that eats dreams. Then things go off the rails with Hypno. Hypno maintains the Dream Eater aspect of Drowsy, but ramps it up a notch. On top of the sort of long of the tapir's mini elephant trunk and replacing it with a mildly caricatured nose, Hypno starts kidnapping children once it evolves. Pokemon have never really shied away from having creepy Pokemon, but Hypno definitely tops the list, and it's only Generation 1. Yeah, he looks like a creepy man. Number 15, the best is Pidgeot. Pidgey is one of the very first Pokemon a new trainer will encounter in the wild. It is likely also one of the very first Pokemon that they'll catch, and it'll follow them through the entire game. Strong flying-type Pokemon were fairly rare in the original Pokemon games, and Pidgey's final evolution, Pidgeot, was one of them. While Pidgey was a fairly unremarkable pigeon-esque Pokemon, aside from the angry eyes, Pidgeot comes with a gorgeous plumage that sets it apart from most other bird Pokemon, even going down the generations. Pidgey and its evolutions proved so popular that Pidgeot eventually received a Mega Evolution in Pokemon X and Y. Number 14, the worst, Diglett. Now, we're gonna be honest here, we actually like Diglett, a cute, good typing, fast as heck, a powerful evolution, and readily availability. Diglett is a pretty good Pokemon, all told. Despite all that, its design isn't that great. Intended to be a mole, something apparently got lost in translation, and we ended up with one of the laziest Pokemon designs in history. 2 eyes, a nose, and half oval body, with a hole it pops out along for the ride. Its evolution Dugtrio doesn't fare much better, being simply 3 Diglets stuck together with angry eyes. At least the Alolan form is pretty hilarious. Yeah, Diglett is... I've seen so many people like create fan art of like what Diglett would be like if he just popped out and he's just like a 7-foot tall fucking like Machop or Machamp looking motherfucker. Number 13, the best, Lapras. I fucking love Lapras, also underrated. Lapras is popular as heck for a lot of reasons. It's an ice type, which Generation 1, it was the only encounter to a powerful dragon type. It's also a water type, making it a good candidate to learn Surf while still being powerful. The typing itself is fairly common, especially in Gen 1, but on top of that, it looks like a gosh darn Loch Ness monster, which is pretty cool. Even better, trainers receive it for free by taking out the hassle of hunting and catching it. Lapras also has a prominent role in the anime and has been catchable in every single game, and bearing those set in Hoenn. Number 12, the worst is Zubat. Now, we'll be upfront here. We're not putting Zubat as in the worst pile because of anything wrong with its design. Zubat actually really captures the real animal, but slightly fantastical design. Philosophy, pretty perfectly. No, Zubat's here because of everything else about it. When it was first introduced, it's an annoying trash pile Pokemon that basically existed to annoy you in caves. It didn't have particularly good movesets, and its typing wasn't great. Now, as time went on, it got a third evolution in Crobat, who turned out to be pretty great Pokemon, even being competitive in tournaments. But Zubat was still a trash cave filler that we hope to never see again. I don't mind Zubat, actually. Zubat is, like, one of those, like, stupidly kind of cute Pokemon. I'm also a sucker for, like, anything that has, like, bat ears, like, bat-eared looking cats, or, like, bat-eared looking, like, foxes or dogs, or, like, the fennec fox, like, it just looks so stupidly just stupid that it has to be cute, you know? How you look at, like, an animal and it's just like, you are so dumb, but you're lucky you're cute. That's kind of how I think of Zubat, to be honest. And I do love Crobat a lot. Number 11, the best is Sandslash, and there's no picture. Time for one of our personal favorites, the woefully underappreciated Sandslash. Sandslash, not. Incorporating elements from pangolins, echidnas, and porcupines, Sandslash is one of the most striking designs in the first generation. Between the spines and the claws, it certainly sticks in the mind, no pun intended. Unfortunately, Sandslash was pretty slow and had an absolutely terrible moveset in red and blue, leading it to be severely underused on series teams. Things improved as time went on, and it eventually got a powerful Alolan form in Sun and Moon. It's still slow, but its moveset has greatly improved, and the Alolan form has good typing. Alolan Sandslash is pretty cool, but I also adore Alolan Vulpix. Number 10, the worst seal. Oh, that's because this is, yeah, at this point, because I don't have internet, the pictures aren't going to show up. Okay. Everything about Steel is goofy. The little horn, the stupid little tongue, the name. It's not even an ice type until it evolves. The best it managed in the anime was holding the Cascade badge in Cerulean City. Not only does it have a dumb design, but it's also a pain to get. Appearing only in the Seafoam Island, it's already outclassed by a Lapras the trainer has received at the Raga HQ, and almost immediately after acquisition by Articuno, the legendary Bird of Ice. On top of that, it takes a while to evolve into Dugong, which, again, already outclassed by Lapras and by Articuno. But again, it's like one of those things where it's so stupid, but because you're cute, it, makes up for it. Number 9, the best Venomoth. Venomoth is at the center of one of the biggest fan theories in Pokemon. Most fans have noticed that Venonat and Venomoth look nothing alike, while Butterfree has plenty in common with Venonat, but much in common with Caterpie and Metapod. Fans began to theorize that Venomoth and Butterfree's sprites were accidentally switched, and the game shipped before Game Freak had a chance to fix it. Regardless of the truth, the theory, Venomoth is still pretty cool. A giant butterfly moth. Venomoth is a staple Pokemon of Fuchsia City Gym leader Koga, and the signature Pokemon of his successor Janine. Venomoth's pretty cool. Number 8, the worst Jinx. We all knew this one was coming. Often thought to be a racial stereotype, Jinx's exact origins have never really been explained. The most popular fan theory posits that she's based on Ganguro, a Japanese fashion where women tan heavily, bleach their blonde hair, and wear heavy makeup. Regardless, Jinx's unfortunate implications, intentional or not, still exist either way. Even after Game Freaks redesigned her to have purple instead of black skin, she still just has a downright weird-looking Pokemon. Which is a shame since she got a very powerful typing, Psychic being one of the most powerful types in Generation 1, and a good moveset. I sometimes just don't understand people's designs, like, for Jinx and Mr. Mime. It just kind of doesn't make sense. Number 7, the best Seadra. Seadra is a real classic, perhaps one of the best examples of evolutions adding spikes and angry eyes. Seadra starts out as adorable horsey. It ends up being a fairly strong water type, although it is often overshadowed by fan favorites like Blastoise and Lapras. Regardless, Seadra managed to find its niche. Somehow it turned into a fairly goofy-looking, real-world seahorse into a pretty cool-looking fantasy creature. Things only got better for Seadra as the franchise progressed, getting an evolution in the form of Kingdra. Kingdra would go on to have caused many nightmares as a signature Pokemon of Johto gym leader Claire. Kingdra is pretty cool too. Number 6, the worst, Geodude. Like Zubat, Geodude acts as an annoying cave filler that trainers will see a million of in the course of their journey. Unlike Zubat, Geodude doesn't have a good design going for it. It's a rock with arms and angry eyes. Granted, has a pretty good moveset, and rock and ground types are both fairly useful against a number of powerful trainers. But if we have to see that dang rock with arms one more dang time, we're going to explode. Which is another annoying thing Geodude tend to do, usually knocking out one of your party along with a grueling cave. Number 5, the best Scyther. Scyther is simply cool. It's a giant bug with swords for arms, and it can technically fly. It's a fairly rare in the original games, and fortunately not very useful, as bug type would take several generations to actually become viable, but it's still cool. It looks like a dragon crossed with a praying mantis. Like, come on now. On top of that, it got a very cool evolution in Generation 2 with Scizor, who's actually managed to be somewhat competitively viable. It became a signature Pokemon for the second Johto gym leader, Bugsy, causing many nightmares with its Fury Cutter attack. Scizor, I think, is probably one of my Generation 2, underrated favorite Pokemon, just because it looks so fucking cool. Yep, there we go. I was waiting for this one. Worst, Mr. Mime for number 4. Mr. Mime forever, one of the most bizarre and confusing Pokemon. We get they're going for a mime, but how in the gosh darn heck does a mime fit into the larger ecosystem of what are essentially animals? And Jinx? At least other more human-looking Pokemon like Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan had a decency to be very obviously not human, but Mr. Mime just looks like a guy. Nowhere more evident than in Detective Pikachu, where Mr. Mime stands out as a particularly nightmare-inducing, even compared to the rest of the perhaps too realistic Pokemon. He got little dodgeballs for shoulders, for Arceus' sake. Number 3, the best Eevee. I kind of figured. Eevee has long been one of the most popular Pokemon, almost in par with Pikachu. It even got to finally be a poster child for a game with Let's Go Pokemon Eevee. While most of the Eevee's popularity comes from its myriad evolutions, it's also a great Pokemon all on its own. It casually walks in line between overly cute and generic, although it does lean into the cute. Still, it got a perfect little niche of believable animal with elements of fantasy, particularly once you get the evolutions. We'd include all 3 of Gen 1 evolutions if we could, but we'll just give them a shout out right here. Vaporeon's the best. I beg to differ. I love them all. Eevee and her evolutions have been like my favorite Pokemon for the longest of time. Now that we have over 1,000 fucking Pokemon, it still has like one of the best places in my heart. And I do have Let's Go Eevee. Generally one of the funnest, like most kind of a very fun, relaxing game of Pokemon where it's not based on like so much of battling. You just catch Pokemon. Anyways, but yeah, I never really chose to have a favorite of Eevee. I think I ended up just kind of going with either Espeon or Umbreon just because I like their design and just a million of pictures of like the sun, the moon, and whatever the fuck. So yeah. Dragonite! Uh-oh. That's gonna cause a lot of problems because I don't think Dragonite's bad at all. Number 2. Ugh, Dragonite. One of the most disappointing Pokemon I've ever encountered. One of the only dragon types in Generation 1, Dragonite is the final step in the Dratini line and the first pseudo-legendary. Pseudo-legendaries are very powerful, very rare, and very hard to train Pokemon that can usually be obtained towards the end of the game. Dragonite evolves the more snake-like Dratini and Dragonair. For some reason, instead of following off the Sleeker's design, Dragonite somehow pops out as a weird Barney the dinosaur-looking thing with tiny little wings and a tiny little antenna. Like, what was the process here? You know what? I disagree with this one. I fucking love Dragonite. I think out of all the dragons, Dragonite might be one of my favorites, and with my little buddy right there, that was like $100+. But yeah, I totally disagree with that one, so let's not get angry in the comments. Number 1, best Articuno. I don't know. We're gonna be honest, Articuno is just about our favorite Pokemon ever. We just love the big, dang, icy boy. We even based a Pokemon trading card game deck around it along the forgotten time of 1999. Anyway, the big flowy tail, the poofy wizard, bearded chest feathers, and the little feather crown, and the big majestic wings. Out of all the original legendary Pokemon, Articuno by far felt the most legendary looking one. Honestly, it hasn't really been topped, equaled maybe we also like Raikou, but Articuno still stands out among the dozens of legendary Pokemon that have been introduced since the release of Red and Green. I disagree because the best legendaries that I adore the most are Mew and Shaman because underrated as fuck. Anyways, that was the top. Oh, I guess it's 20 because there's 10 good and 10 bad. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments of what you think of like who is your best and worst Pokemon of Generation 1. And yeah, once again, this is not my list. It's just something on a random fucking website that I found that looked interesting enough. Plus, I kind of want to hear all your debates in the comments below, so let me know what you think. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give a thumbs up, and hit the bell so you're notified when I make videos every Wednesday. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.